Hey everybody, it's Egan here from Get Found Madison. Today we're going to talk about how we can reach our prospects on Facebook and measure the results. I see a lot of people using Facebook to market their businesses, but they're not always the most effective about it. Sometimes they're boosting posts or they're just doing organic unpaid posts on their page, but really that's just scratching the surface. There's a lot more businesses could be doing, so let's talk about that. We're not going to get so much into what kind of ads should you be running, what should be in your ads. We really want to focus on who do we target, how do we set up our targeting audiences, and then how do we measure the results of our campaigns. I'll do a separate one about content at another time. And you can text Get Found one word to 66866 if you're interested in these slides or more free digital marketing tips. So why advertise on Facebook? For one, this is where your customers are at, and it offers unprecedented targeting across all kinds of things. Geography, age, demographics, and interest is really where it gets interesting. And then if there's not enough existing demand for what you sell, products or services on Google, meaning people aren't already going to search engines and searching for what you do, Facebook and social media can be a great tool for that. And even if there is existing demand for what you sell, it can make sense to advertise on Facebook, and we'll talk about why. So average time spent per visit right now in the US is 20 minutes at a time on Facebook. And per day in the US, on average, people are spending 50 minutes, so almost an hour looking at Facebook. So this is really that piece of, this is where people are at. So this is where we want to be as a business or an organization, right? These are not percentages on this one. This is number of users in the millions by age range. So particularly in the 25 to 34 range, we see a ton of people, millennials there, myself included. 58.3%, I just said it's not percent, 58.3 million on Facebook, but even 35 to 44, 42 million, 45 to 54, 35 million, etc. So lots of people are on, and this is as of January. The important thing here is average cost per click is not that high. I should probably take this slide out. I think average by 2018 is more like $1 rather than say a quarter or 26 cents cost per click. That's what CPC is. And then average cost per 1,000, it's more in the, I would say, $10, $11, $12 range. I tried to find recent data. This was the most recent I could find, but I asked around with some other professionals, and they're really seeing more. $1 a click, give or take, and then maybe $12 cost per 1,000 people you're reaching. But again, compare that to other mediums, particularly, radio, TV, newspaper, 20th century advertising. This is more targeted, and you have the option to only pay when someone clicks to your website, which is amazing. Now, another reason to advertise, we're talking about those organic posts where I've got a business page, I'm posting updates and things on there, maybe I'm even doing videos there. What you've probably seen is that not very many followers are seeing that. And the reason is that organic reach is slipping. Everybody's trying to get there into that Facebook feed, and it's not always an option. So over the course of time, this date only goes up through March 2014, which I apologize, that was so long ago. I couldn't find more up-to-date data on this, but I'm hearing anecdotally and from prospects and clients that when we post on Facebook, nobody sees it. And certainly this bears it out. So it would be very normal to have 1,000 followers and you post something, and without boosting it, maybe 20 people see it. So that's really the norm. That's the world we're living in. It's pay to play. This isn't just a platform for you to sort of share things and musings with your friends and family. They're monetizing this thing. So that's why it's pay to play. Particularly recently, after Zuckerberg testified before Congress, you can imagine all the sort of fallout from this, but one of the big ones for our purposes here is Zuckerberg himself said that basically we're getting so much public content, businesses, brands, and media, that's crowding out personal moments. So what we can sort of infer from that is, hey, if you're a business, we're not going to see so much of that anymore. Particularly, you're going to need to pay if you want to get there. So what kind of business or organization does it work well for advertising on Facebook? I think local is great, particularly if you can be fun, entertaining, or educational. That's good. A big reason for that is you don't go on Facebook to buy something. So we need to keep that in mind when we run our ads. Any sort of personal or niche interests can be great. We don't want to be too corporate. This is not like we're running a Super Bowl ad or even just an ad on TV. It's really more personable, and it can make sense to just sort of record an informal video on a smartphone as opposed to a polished sort of marketing video we might be thinking of. And then B2C in particular is great. We can talk more. If you're selling to consumers, it makes sense because this is where they are. If you're selling to businesses, B2B, we can talk more about that too. There are some options. So when you graduate and you're ready to do some true Facebook advertising, you need to set up Business Manager. And this is the way I tell people, if you know you're in Business Manager, if you go to business.facebook.com to look at your business page, not facebook.com and then go to your page, I'm saying you have a whole separate section where we go in and we run ads from your account. And once you do that, then you attach your ad accounts, or you set up ad accounts and you set up your pages. So you may already have a business page. We need to loop them all together. And then you can put people on your team. So for Splendid Beast, I've got my employee Aaron on there. And so you can say, here's the people that have access to run ads for us, etc. And here's just an example of what some ads look like. You can see some of these are B2B. So I own a digital marketing agency, Get Found Madison. And so I'm seeing things about using Slack instead of email, that sort of thing, project management. See what's behind the curtain. So basically, what are marketing agencies doing? So you can tell based on the targeting here, they know I own a marketing agency and they're advertising to me. Same story, this one about hoping for new clients. So they've got that data, they've got that down, and people are targeting me based on who I am. Same idea is to turn that around, find the people who buy from you or potentially be interested, and let's show them some ads. So I just want to say, here's an example. On the left, obviously, we have the feed. This is on desktop. On mobile, you're more likely to just see the feed as you scroll through. And on desktop, you also see these two on the right. So I just wanted to show that. Once you got your pixel running, which was what we're going to talk about, that's code that runs in the background invisibly on the site, and it tracks your visitors and what pages they're looking at, and we can even customize it for what activity are they taking on there. So you can see for my two companies, Get Found Madison and Splendid Beast, which is a pet painting business, splendidbeast.com, we sell custom oil paintings of pets. Basically, I've got the pixel running here, and I can see the activity, almost like Google Analytics. So it's going to give us code. Again, when we're in business.facebook.com and we go to our pixel section, it says, here's a bunch of code. Don't be overwhelmed by this. Don't worry if you're not technical. We just need to copy this and place it on our site up in the header. If you need a developer to do this, it can make sense to do that. I'll take a quick aside and just show you how I do it. So we're on WordPress. And when you go to your plugins in WordPress, you can just add a new plugin, and you could find one that specifically implements the Facebook pixel. Since we also run other pixels, like we're running Google Analytics, we're running AdWords and things like that, I want to do it all from Google Tag Manager. I'll show you that in just a second. So I have a plugin installed called Google Tag Manager for WordPress. This puts one tracking code on my site, and then all my other tracking codes live in here, which is amazing. So when I run a Google AdWords campaign, I want to see, did people submit my forms? And so I've got triggers for each of my forms, and it's going to send that data back to AdWords. Yep, this was a successful ad. Let's say 100 people clicked and 5 contacted me. I have a 5% conversion rate. I'm able to do that conversion tracking because I'm set up in here. Let's look at Facebook. So Facebook, this pixel basically that I just showed, this piece here, I just copied this, and I went into Google Tag Manager because I've got Google Tag Manager running all the pages of my site. I said, put in my Facebook pixel, and there it is, there's the code, and fire it on all pages. This can really be a great solution if you've got an IT team, a development team or something, they're separate and you're in marketing. This is great of, hey, put this code on the website once, and then I'm able to do my own marketing tracking codes. So I just wanted to show that. And notice I have one for Facebook pixel, and then I have one for Facebook lead as well. That's this piece. So once you've got your pixel running on all your pages in the background, Facebook's starting to get data about who's coming to your website, you want to customize it. So in this case, we just want to run this what's called JavaScript code. Yes, track a lead if someone fills out my contact form. So it makes life a lot easier for you if you're able to, when someone fills out a form on your website, redirect to a thank you page. Because then you can just put this code on your thank you page and say, yep, somebody got to the thank you page, track that as a lead. Likewise, so for Splendid Beast, we sell oil paintings online. When someone hits the thank you page, we want to say, yep, track that as a purchase. We can see that right here. And then if we do some extra development, we can even pass in the revenue. But that's a little outside the scope of what we're doing here. I just wanted to show that. So right here, in Google Tag Manager, I'm able to say, this is on Splendid Beast then, I've got all these tags on the left, and if I click into those, I can see the actual code, and I say, fire this code if this happens. That's why I absolutely love this tool, and that's why I use that. I'll be teaching courses soon, starting hopefully next month, and we'll be launching classes on how to do all this. The Facebook piece, Google Tag Manager, SEO, Google AdWords. If you're interested, I'll leave some details below. All right, so once your pixel's running, we set up the Facebook Pixel Helper, and this is a Chrome extension. Basically, if you're running Google Chrome as your browser, you can download this free extension, and it'll just show you in the upper right, yep, your Facebook Pixel's going, page view, is logging to the pixel. Also, you can go back into the pixel section in your Facebook Business Manager, and you can see I've got this many page views, this many leads, this many registration completes, and it's going to show me over time. This may take a day or two to populate, so don't worry if you're not seeing it right away, but you want to check back after you've installed your pixel, make sure you're getting some data in here. All right, so we've done the technical setup, we've put our code on, and we're ready to track the results, and now we want to target specific people and show them our ads. So how do we do this? I'm going to go, when you go to create a custom audience in your audiences tab, I'm going to go from bottom to top here. So let's talk about engagement. These are ones that I often recommend setting up. Regardless of the business you're running, these make sense. So if they engage with your Facebook page, they like, comment, and shared, it probably makes sense to put them in an audience and potentially market to them, right? So that's what we can do there. There's also, let me see, if you have Instagram connected, if they're interacting on Instagram, if they're watching your videos, things like that, those can make sense. So for example, I click into this and I say, people who engage with my page in the last 365 days. So in the last year, they engaged with my page on Facebook. I want to be able to advertise to them. And likewise, if they watched any of my videos on Facebook, because I might want to show them an ad with another video in the future, or with an offer in the future. So that's the idea there. Let's talk about website traffic. Remember that Facebook pixel we set up, that code that's running in the background? That's what allows us to do this. So if someone hits certain pages on my site, I want to know, and I want to be able to send them specific ads about those services in the future, right? Likewise, if they spend a certain amount of time on my site, if they were just on anywhere on the website in the last 30 days, those are all audiences I like to set up. Likewise, for an e-commerce store, if someone visited the website but they didn't finish purchase, they didn't hit the final thank you page, I want to put them in an audience. And notice I've got one for the past 60 days, one for the past 30 days, and I can remarket, show them ads again of, hey, come on back. You've probably seen that when you went to Amazon, looked at a product and left. Hey, there it is. It's in my Facebook feed. It's around the web. That's retargeting. That's remarketing. That's what we're talking about there. Likewise, if someone viewed a certain important page, I would definitely want to set those up. These are almost like mini conversions or like mini goals, just like we would set up maybe in Google Analytics, which is another topic. So they viewed these particular ones in the last X many days, put them in an audience. And then there's customer file as well. So if you've got a good list of customers, you have their emails, you could put them in here. And then even if you have email subscribers, this would be a good option. So if you use MailChimp, you can actually connect these, and I believe it stays synced and up to date. So as you're getting new subscribers in MailChimp, Facebook can know about it. Otherwise, if you just want to copy and paste them, you're totally able to do that here, which is just phenomenal. And then the power of this becomes you can create lookalike audiences. Here's my customers. Here's people that are at least on my email list and interested in what I have to say. Let's remarket to them. Or here's people that have been to my website. I want to find more people that would be interested in like this. So you can set a lookalike audience of my email list, my customer list, or in this case, web visitors, people who've been on the website in the US. Give me, another 2.1 million people that would be similar, and maybe I can use the algorithm to find more people. Particularly if you have a large number of web visitors, people on your email list, or a good list to feed them, this can be very powerful. So here's the audiences I recommend creating when you go into your business.facebook.com and you look at your audiences specifically, right? So definitely set up your customer list and try out setting up a lookalike on that as well. You get different, let me go back to that. So I just have 1%. So show me the 1% of people in the US that would be most like the web visitors I had. You can do 2%, 5%, but the tighter you go, supposedly the more like your existing web visitors they are. So do the customer list or email list and then do lookalikes of those and try to find some new people. Likewise, recent website visitors, if they've already checked you out, they know about your brand, it's a good time to bring them back, particularly if you have a good offer. And then any particular page views, maybe if they went a ways into your site, if they were, you can even do if they're spending a certain amount of time on pages that you really want to fire for, or like pages that are high interest. If someone hits this page or spends a certain amount of time and they're on this page, let's trigger that. And then obviously anybody who's engaging with us on social media, it'd be good to market to them again in the future. So once we've got those set up, I like to go into Audience Insights. That's a separate tool in here. And we can sort of do some exploration. So in this case, I'm looking at Madison and Middleton, which is where we're at, in Dane County, Wisconsin. And I can see I've got 250,000 up to 300,000 monthly active people. And then as you go through and you say, I only want men, I only want women, I want certain ages, it's going to show you, it's going to give you new estimates on how many people are in that, and potentially create some new audiences as well, basically based on demographics. Break it down by job title in many cases. And then I just want to show you a few of these options. So obviously age, gender, we talked about. And then when we get into interests, each of these you can drill down in further. So this can be really interesting. In a relationship status, again, thinking this is really a B2C tool in many cases, there's a lot of options here. Even just how much education does a person have, right? This one amazes me. There's sort of ethnicity kind of questions in here. And then if they're parents, if you're marketing to parents, it's even got how old is their kids, which is amazing. And then obviously their political views, and then life events, away from home, long distance relationship, recently moved, upcoming birthday, new job, etc. These are all things you could be targeting. And then once you've got those set up, when you first set up your ad, then you go into Ads Manager. That's how I do it. You've got some options here about what is the objective of our ad. And so with conversions, this one over here, that one you're not even able to do unless you've got the pixel running, because Facebook needs to know, hey, there was a conversion on my site. That reminds me, I need to back up on something. So when the pixel's running on your site, it's not just measuring what happens if someone clicks from Facebook, it's all the time. So even if someone's not logged into Facebook, if there's a cookie on their browser, which basically means they've been in Facebook, they've left, and now they're on your website or something, that still may tie their Facebook profile to their browsing activity. So it's really doing a lot of watching, and you can imagine that's part of probably what Congress was concerned about, even if they knew enough to even understand that, yes, Facebook is watching you even when you're not on Facebook. They're aware of what websites you're going to and feeding that back into their algorithm. So we can also target, so this is objective here. I would say do traffic if nothing else. Depends what you're doing. I'm looking at it really depends which one you choose, what you want to go for. But I'm thinking, for a lot of local businesses I speak to, I think traffic can make sense. Sometimes engagement if I want them to do something on social, brand awareness if it's higher up, and then sales and things. Obviously, it's e-commerce. Conversion can work though too. We saw for Get Found Madison on my website, we count a lead if someone fills out our contact form. So I could potentially do conversions. I think you need to have a lot of conversions to feed into the algorithm for that to really work. So I can target people in Madison. I can do specific age and gender language. And then notice also with the locations, everyone in this location, people who live here, people who are recently here, and interestingly, people who are traveling here. So if you're in the tourism industry, that's a really great way to target. Speaking of B2B, here's a really interesting piece. So I'm marketing to other marketers, so marketing directors and people like that who work in marketing departments. I want to show them digital marketing because we offer classes and how to do all this stuff, right? So if I search for marketing director, it brings up all kinds of ideas based on interest, job titles, employers, etc., behaviors. So this is a great way to do B2B. So particularly if people are invested and could be interested in, let's say, learning new content and things outside of work, this is definitely an option for you, right? And so you can actually, say you put that first one in director of marketing, here's some suggestions for you, job titles and things like that. And notice it shows me on the side how many people fall into this. I think that size is based on US, and then I can say overall, I'm just looking for Madison, right? Do income, if this matters for you, this can be a big deal. Facebook, as far as we know, is not just gathering data from what you do on Facebook and what you do around the web, as if that weren't enough. They're also gathering other data sets and matching it up with what they know. So that's probably how they know some of this. Net worth, this is pretty incredible. They would know this. And recently, I just saw this one. I don't know if it's been here a while, is liquid assets. How much do you own, even outside your home? That's pretty amazing they've got that in here at all. Even if it's remotely accurate, that's amazing. And then again, away from family, away from hometown, anniversaries coming up, etc., things like that. Interests, you can go as deep as you want in here. You kind of need to explore. I'm hitting the browse now, so there were suggestions, and now I'm browsing, hey, what do you got in here? What sort of interests are there? Again, drilling down. If you're a nonprofit doing charitable organizations, charitable donations, that can be a great way to go. Hey, here's people we know that are interested in charitable donations, so why not show our video to them? And then connection type, to me, if I'm advertising, I probably want to reach people that are not connected to my page. Maybe friends. So with Splendid Beast, it often makes sense to market to people who are friends of people who like the page, because maybe they've actually seen some of these custom oil paintings, right? And then once you go through this, on the right, you'll see, hey, here's the potential reach. This is pretty small, but again, I'm doing a local campaign, right? So 5,800 people. I don't think you want to go much smaller than this. So try to get a few thousand people. So Facebook has some inventory, meaning spaces on the app to actually show people ads. So here's your estimated reach. Here's how many clicks you could get a day. Here's how many people you could reach a day. Here's the idea, right? So it's nice to get those estimates. And then even placements. You can just say automatic show my ads anywhere, but Facebook has different properties, different places to show ads. We kind of want to think through, what are people doing? So is this something they can take action on mobile? Most people are going to be on mobile going through their smartphone. So if possible, keep mobile on. You want to make sure you have a good landing page experience that loads quickly and everything like that. So it's nice we can market right on Instagram, right from Facebook. This is pretty handy. It's nice that they acquired it in that sense, and they've got all this data to bring together. So that one's definitely hot. Check out the Instagram feed. And then the audience network is really a great opportunity. That means you're seeing these ads, or people are seeing these ads when they're not even on Facebook. So Facebook's got this other network of web ads, so when you're reading the news and things, you may be in the Facebook app, you may not, but you can be browsing the web and see these ads as well. And then obviously Messenger, that's a whole other story, is when you're sending messages to friends and things like that, you're going to be seeing more and more ads in there, and people are still just taking that one up, and it can be exciting to try new placements and new targeting that other people are not there yet, and oftentimes that can make sense. But again, in this case, are people expecting a message from a company? You sort of have to think carefully about how you want to do that, if at all. And then the budget and the schedule, you can set it for the lifetime of the ad or the campaign, or just daily, how much do we want to spend. I would say don't do this unless you're doing at least $5 a day. That's a tiny budget, but it's something to start on to actually get you some clicks to your website every day, right? And then you can run it continuously, start and end date. You can actually schedule what time of the day should this run. This will be based on who you're going after, kind of what you're going for. What are they doing when they see your ad? You want to think about that. And then optimize for link clicks. Notice there's a landing page view option. And I always ask people, what do you think the difference is? Well, someone can click a link on your ad when they're scrolling through Facebook. And then if your page takes too long to load, they may not even see the page that you're trying to take them to. So you can say, hey, Facebook, wait until they actually load. This is a new option. And then impressions below that is actual just views. How often should it show up in the feed? Or rather, charge me every 1,000 times it shows up in the feed. That's kind of the idea. That's the only. I like to pay for link clicks when possible, but it's good to just experiment here and see what makes sense. You can say set a bid. So we're going to optimize for link clicks. We're going to set a bid cap and never pay more than a certain amount. And I can say when you get charged, again, here's your big choices. Do you want to pay to just show your ads, or do you only want to pay when someone clicks to your site? Which I think is a great option. And then run ads all the time, put the schedule. Delivery type standard, and then there's accelerated as well. That's the one at the bottom. Accelerated is it's going to run through your ads very, very quickly, in my experience, depending on how large your audience is. So if you really want to space it out over time, just stick with standard. Formats, again, we're not going to talk too much about ads you're running, but I would say single image and single video, start there. Those are kind of the basics. Here's some tools you can use. Obviously, if you know Photoshop, that's great. Canva is a great free option. We've also used Pixlr Editor, which is free. Both Canva and Pixlr are just in the browser. They're pretty easy. I find Canva particularly easy, so that can be a great way to go. What should your ad include? Obviously, you've got your brand, you've got visuals, you've got your offer, and your call to action, right? So think through this piece of, again, no one's going on Facebook to buy things, so can we educate, can we entertain? In this case, can we give them a free marketing course since he's a marketer? That's kind of the idea of we want to have a multi-visit approach, and if we get them to the site and we get their email, great, because then we can market to them via email, right? You don't necessarily want to pay for Facebook ads each time you market to them, but if you're paying to get them as an initial prospect, that can make sense. And then once you run these ads, because we've got the pixel setup and we did all that stuff we talked about, we can actually see how many results we got. So in this case, here's one we did for Splendid Beast, and I can see that on the right column, we spent, about $98 for each of these, and we tried the different formats, and then in results, I can see how many purchases did we actually get. One column that's missing here is how many link clicks were there and how much did each one cost. But I can see I spent $98. I got 4 purchases. So cost per acquisition, CPA was $24, which is phenomenal in this case because that was still profitable for us. Versus look at that bottom one, the carousel. We spent $98. We got 1 purchase in there. If that's higher than our margin, then this was not a profitable campaign. Maybe we want to double down on slideshow there. And then, here's link clicks. Reach is how many people saw it. Impressions is how many times was it seen. Again, people could see it more than once. Cost per link click, I always like to see and kind of compare to Google and other platforms. That was our budget, and that's how much we spent. And then you can look at, again, reach, frequency. So people were seeing this 4.5 times on average, 4.59. How much was it costing you per 1,000 people reached? This one was a little pricey at $41. This might have been a remarketing campaign of people that already went to our site. We didn't have a huge pool to draw from, so Facebook had to wait until the opportunities to show them ads came up, so it cost us a little more. But cost per 1,000 impressions, That's interesting. So on the impression, since people saw it 4.5 times, still cost per impression, $9. Not bad at all to reach 1,000 people for $9, right? You can obviously see the interaction as well. Did people react on the post? Did they comment, share, etc.? If people are sharing your ads, if you're able to get to that point, it's great and can really reduce your cost per click. What should I test? So always remarketing. People are already coming to your site, show them your brand again. They know you, they're interested in what you have to do, so keep reminding them to come back and check out something new. Custom audiences, we've gone through all those ones I recommend setting up. Lookalike audiences of previous customers, previous buyers. Obviously change up your copy, your images, your video. You can duplicate ads within an ad set and say, yep, show me use a different video, use a different image, maybe just change some of the wording in the header or something. Just change one thing at a time and see which one does better. Obviously the targeting, that's what we're talking about today. Your landing pages you're taking them to, again, they need to load quick as can be. Shoot for 2 seconds. I think on WordPress under 3 is actually good though. And then content promotion. Again, we're not hard selling people. We're thinking we're at a party. This is a social place. We're going to social media, so really try to add value, give them free offers and things like that. Try to get emails in exchange rather than selling right away at the outset. All right, so hope this is helpful for your business. Again, if you're interested in learning how to do some of this stuff, we're going to be offering courses, and I'll include some information below about that. Otherwise, if you want more free tips, you can text GET FOUND to 66866. Hope this is helpful.